Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today I will explain the application of UV visible spectroscopy. In first part, I will explain the application of UV visible spectroscopy under these headings: detection of extent of conjugation, detection of functional group, determination of purity of the substance, identification of unknown compound, determination of configuration of geometrical isomers, quantitative analysis, and at last, dissociation constant of acids and bases. First, how we can detect the extent of conjugation. Conjugation mean diene, triene, and polyene. Mean having more than one double bond, that is called a conjugate. For conjugation, I will explain here with a help of molecular orbital theory. In molecular orbital theory, these are molecular orbital, bonding and anti-bonding. This is the highest occupied molecular orbital containing electron, and these are anti-bonding, and these are lowest unoccupied molecular orbital. When radiation fall, the electron jump from this HOMO to LOMO. So as the conjugation increases, the energy gap between HOMO and LOMO decreases. So it is easy to shift the electron from this HOMO to LOMO easily. So minimum energy is required and longer wavelength. For explaining the detection of extent of conjugation, I have taken some example. This is ethylene containing one double bond. So it absorbs at 180 nanometer. But when we have increased another double bond in conjugation, that is diene, the absorbance shift to 217 nanometer. And this is triene, and as you know that 258 nanometer means when the double bond increases, conjugation increases in a alternative way, and the absorbance is also increased to 258 nanometer from 180. In the similar way, this is an heteroatom containing cyclic pyridine. Now it absorbs at 250 nanometer. When we increase the conjugation by increasing another ring, then the absorbance increases to 290 nanometer and then 360 nanometer. Here another examples of conjugation. We have acetone containing carbonyl compound. Carbonyl containing an electron. So it absorbs at 290 nanometer. But when we increase the conjugation by changing this methyl group into CH double bond CH mean alkene introduction, the absorbance increases to 325 nanometer. But when we change this methyl group to hydrogen, then its absorbance will decrease to 320 nanometer because it will act as an oxochrome, so it will not act as an oxochrome. And when we have increases to this group, then the absorbance will also decreases to 270 nanometer. So this is the first example. Here some other example: benzene, pyridine, thiophenone, pyrrole, toluene, aniline, phenol, methoxybenzene, which also all absorb in ultraviolet region containing different functional group. Second application is the detection of a functional group. UV visible spectroscopy also help to determine the functional group in the presence or absence of a chromophore, because different chromophore absorb and different region like conjugation, carbonyl group, benzene, aromatic, bromo, iodo, they absorb at different regions. Here this is carbon with carbon double bond. It absorbs at 171 nanometer. So double bond here, triple bond functional group, acetylene, it absorbs at 173 nanometer. Carbon with triple bond nitrogen, acetonitride, absorbed at 167 nanometer. Here is carbon with oxygen carbonyl in the form of acid, absorbed at 190 nanometer. Acetic acid carboxylate containing 204, ethyl acetate ester group on 211 nanometer, and then imide group at 178. So in one way it will help us to determine some functional group by using UV visible spectroscopy. Here another spectra shown here. We have benzene and toluene. Benzene absorbed at 254 nanometer as shown in the spectra. But when they have attached with methyl group, they absorb at 261 nanometer. So it's a shift the absorbance. So here a graph is shown between benzene and toluene. Third application is determination of the purity of the substance. UV visible spectroscopy also help us to determine the purity of the compound in some way. The absorption of the sample solution is compared with the absorption of the reference solution. First we run the reference or standard solution and then our sample and compare their absorption spectra to determine whether it is pure or impure. For example, I have here taken benzene appear as a common impurity in cyclohexane. So we check whether our cyclohexane is pure or not in the presence of easily, because it absorbs at 250 nanometer benzene. So we have run the spectra and here you can see that a red spectra. This is cyclohexane. When it is pure, then no other absorption take place. So when there is an impurity like benzene or phenol, then they absorb at 255 nanometer, which indicate that our cyclohexane is not pure. So with the help of UV visible spectroscopy, we can determine that our compound is pure or not. Fourth application is the identification of unknown compound. UV visible spectroscopy also help us to determine the unknown compound by comparing their spectra, known with unknown. It also helps us determine unsaturation, heteroatom, combination of peak with the standard peaks. For example, we have two isomers of the cyclo compound. One has conjugated diene and other have not conjugated, but they have same isomeric form. So with the help of UV visible spectroscopy, compound 1 contains conjugated diene system, compound 2 basically, and it absorbs at 232 nanometer, while compound 1 which are not conjugated absorbs at 175 nanometer. So with the help of UV visible spectroscopy, we can say that whether it is in this isomeric form or the second this isomeric form. Next application, determination of configuration of geometric isomer. So we can determine whether our compound is cis or trans, because cis and trans absorb at a different wavelength. Cis is more sterically effect hindered due to the copolarity of the system, and it will absorb at a low wavelength and required high energy due to steric effect, because the bulky group are on the same side which will affect each other. So this is cis-cinnamic acid and this is trans-cinnamic acid. So cis-cinnamic acid absorb at lower wavelength 268 nanometer, while trans-ceramic acid the bulky group are on the opposite side and less affected with each other, so it will absorb at 272 nanometer. So with the help of UV visible spectroscopy, we can determine the configuration of geometric isomer. Next application is the quantitative analysis. We can quantitatively determine the compound amount. Quantitative mean we have to interested in determine the percentage of the substance in any sample. It can be determined by using Lambert-Beer law. What is Lambert-Beer law? Absorbance is directly proportional to concentration and path length of the cell or tube which we have used. This is the formula. Absorbance is equal to log I naught over IT, mean incident light over transmitted light, and also operate in transmittance form is called log 1 over T or minus log T is equal to epsilon BC. So we can quantitatively analyze by using different method, calibration curve, simultaneous multi-component method, different spectrophotometric method or derivative spectrophotometer. In general, common method use calibration curve. We have draw calibration curve with standard from 0% to 100%, and then we run the unknown sample and the plot is against absorbance versus concentration. So from absorbance we can calculate the concentration of the unknown sample. If our compound is solid, then we have to write the solvent also. For example, the molar absorptivity of methyl vinyl ketone in hexane is 14,000. It absorbed at 219 nanometer. If we change the solvent, then its molar absorptivity and wavelength will also change, because solvent also absorb in this region. So we have to mention the solvent if our component is solid. Next example is qualitative analysis. So we have by using UV visible spectroscopy qualitatively and quantitatively determine the compound. Qualitative mean we determine which compound is present, and quantitatively how much compound is present. So by spectrophotometric method, it is fast and accurate result using only small quantity of the sample. For example, we have to determine the paracetamol, which is commonly used medicine. So we have quantitative analysis show the measurement of process of active ingredient in precise and free of the impure compound. First we have take a standard of paracetamol and run their spectra, and after that we take a tablet from which we determine whether the paracetamol is pure or impure. So if their spectra are matched with the pure substance, then we can say that our paracetamol sample is pure. If other impurity are present, then spectra will be changed. So we can say that they have some impure compound or excipient present in it. We also determine the dose. As you know that paracetamol available in different amount like 200 milligram, 500 milligram. So we can also measure the dose of the substance by using UV visible spectroscopy. Next application is the dissociation constant of acid and base. The pK is called dissociation constant of acid. From this equation, pH is equal to pKa plus log A minus over HA, mean ionized over unionized. From this above equation, the pK value can be calculated if the ratio A minus over HA is known at a particular pH. Basically, we change the pH, then the ratio may be changes from ionized to unionized or ionized to unionized. For explanation, I have taken the example of phenol and phenolatione. The phenolatione have lambda max 287 nanometer. If the absorbance at 287 nanometer is monitored as a function of a pH. So by changing the pH, we will monitor the absorbance of at 287 nanometer. If the absorbance is increases by changing the pH, then it shows that the phenolatione is increases. If its absorbance is decreases, then we can say that phenolatione is decreases and changes into phenol. So we can determine the dissociation constant. When the ratio of phenolatione and phenol is equal 1/2, then this ratio will be equal to 1. So pH will be equal to pK. So at that pH we can say that we can determine the dissociation constant of that compound. As you see this relation, when this ratio is 1/2, mean ionized and ionized form are equal, then pK will be equal to pH. So we can determine the dissociation constant of acid. So in the same way, pKb is called for dissociation constant of base. So we can determine similar way when we have using some base, the term dissociation constant of the base. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.